Hello, I'm Roger Bonds with PhysicianCareerAdvisor.com. In our last video, I offered to review your CV for free. So if you haven't watched that one, be sure to check it out. Now, I've reviewed thousands of physician CVs over the years, and nothing surprises me anymore. Now, let's talk about how you can apply for a medical position and have your CV end up in the A stack of preferred CVs and not the B stack. Whoever looks at your CV is only going to spend a few seconds making that initial decision, so every detail counts. Number one, realize the purpose of the CV when used for job hunting is to get you the interview. So for once in your life, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and write about how great you are. But no one else can toot your own horn like you can. I know how uncomfortable this is. Just this week, I updated my own CV for my LinkedIn profile, and it was really painful. Now, let's get started on some tips. First, don't fall for the old rule of keeping it to one page. In the medical field, that's always been a kiss of death. You need at least 2 pages, even if you have to use wider margins and bigger font. But no matter, be sure to use a good-sized font, because don't laugh. Most people are doing the hiring. We are middle-aged or older. But don't make it too long. If you're applying for a private practice or other pure patient care position, I recommend my 4-page rule. Otherwise, you'll probably look like an academic. But if you're going into academics or a hybrid practice, you can have it almost any length as long as the data is pertinent. Oftentimes, I advise to have a long version and a short version depending on your needs. You might give them the short version to initially get the interview and then give them the long version later on. As far as content and how far back to go, on one hand, I'd like to say the more the better, but make sure, again, it's truly pertinent data. If it's your college job at McDonald's, then it's not going to impress. But if it's your college job in the medical world, or even high school, then tell us it's pertinent, and we probably are impressed. Be sure to follow the format of a good CV example. Now, if you're a physician of any age in an academic or Ivy League institution or outside the U.S., then they may have their own special format. But that may only be helpful if you are applying for a position there. For example, if they want their CVs to show your education and work in a chronological order, okay, so be it. But please know, it's just the opposite in the rest of the medical world, at least here in the U.S. Here, the vast majority of employers or your future medical partners want to see the information in reverse chronological order, so we can quickly see where you are now or learn what you've most recently published or researched. Of course, start at the top of page 1 with your name and contact information, and don't type the words curriculum vitae, that's obvious. And include your best email address and cell phone number if the CV is going to a trusted source, like a specific job you're applying for. At the top under your name, tell us your specialty, so we don't have to look for it. Also, if you're in training and not available for some time, type the word availability and the month and year you want to start work. Then, of course, list your education, jobs or positions that you've held, and don't forget your credentials, licensure, additional coursework or training. Then whatever research or publications you have, list those too, especially if peer-reviewed. But maybe you have other published works or activities that you should list as well, even if they aren't peer-reviewed. You might put that in a special section. Lastly, we want to know something about you personally. So the last section should tell us personal items. Perhaps you want to say if you're married or what your spouse does or if you have children or what do you like to do in your spare time. Now actually I know you don't have any spare time, but what are your personal interests? Maybe you like history or a certain time in history or art or international travel or love to run or play soccer. Whatever it is, we want to know you're an interesting, well-balanced individual who enjoys the world. Now, realize there are no hard and fast rules on what to always do and never do in a CV. You can be creative to put your best foot forward, at least to an extent. There's a great deal more to this, but those are the main points and all we have time for now. I hope these tips are helpful. If you want to know more, like this video below and also click subscribe. Go to PhysicianCareerAdvisor.com and get my free newsletter. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and invite me to speak at your next national conference or grand rounds. My email is rbonds@PhysicianCareerAdvisor.com or call my office at 770-649-7150. My extension is 203. You have a tremendous future ahead of you. I'll see you next time.